Wow, man, you're so flexible. You're like a rubber band. A rubber band? Yeah, look how stretchy you are. I think I'm more like silly putty, actually. What's that supposed to mean? While rubber bands are elastic materials that are stretchy and can make complete recovery, most biological tissue is actually a viscoelastic material, including muscles and tendons. Oh, meaning they exhibit both elastic and viscous properties? The elasticity is often represented by Hooke's model of a perfect spring, and the dashpot represents viscous materials. And these materials have several characteristic properties, right? If a viscoelastic material is stretched and then held at a constant length, the stress that length actually gradually decreases. Oh, stress relaxation. And then creep is the continued deformation at a fixed load. Exactly. In fact, the science behind stretching can be greatly correlated with what we learned in biomechanics class. A study done by the orthopedic research laboratories at Duke University Medical Center related stretching mechanics directly to what we learned in class. In the first part of the study, researchers demonstrated the viscoelastic nature of the muscles and the tendons by performing cyclic stretching of the extensor digitorum longus in the New Zealand white rabbits to 10% beyond their resting length. After repeated stretching of muscle tendons to the predetermined length, a decline in peak tension was measured with each consecutive stretch. This shows that not only the individual stretch, but the history of stretching is relevant to the peak tension in the muscle tendon unit. This decline in peak tension occurs because of the viscoelastic property of stress relaxation that leads to an internal change in structure of the specimen during each stretch. While we learn that a constant strain causes a decrease in stress over a duration of time, it also shows the viscoelastic phenomenon of hysteresis. This occurs due to a lagging of the stress relaxation behind the application of strain. In the next part of the experiment, the muscles were stretched to a predetermined tension as opposed to length. After the peak tension was reached, stretching was stopped and the muscle tendon unit was maintained at a fixed length for 30 seconds over the course of 10 cycles. Similar to the first findings, the amount of tension within the unit decreased over the duration of the stretch. However, it appears that there reaches a point where maximum stress relaxation occurs, as there was only a statistically significant difference between the relaxation curves for the first 4 cycles. This was shown in lecture when solving for stress relaxation. At a constant strain, this equation shows that how the stress as a function of time decays to a set point is determined by the modulus GR multiplied by the strain gamma naught. This relationship perhaps explains the reasoning for how flexibility can increase over time as collagen fibers within our muscles and our connective tissues can become more extensible, therefore lowering the modulus elasticity and the overall tension as we stretch. Another key point of the study was in showing the importance that strain rate has on the viscoelastic properties of the muscle tendon units. Ballistic stretching is the repetitious bouncing movements where the muscles are rapidly lengthened and immediately return to resting length. This is the least beneficial stretching routine, as this technique can lead to the possibility of injury. They found that the faster stretch rates resulted in peak greater tensions and more absorbed energy within the muscle tendon unit for a given length of the stretch. This means that ballistic stretching performed at a fast rate has a greater likelihood of causing strain injury. In addition, since the muscle is not held at a higher tension, there is a little chance to allow the time-dependent stress relaxation or creep to occur within the muscle to reduce the peak tension at a given length change or to increase the length at a given applied force. Due to hysteresis, the rate at which a muscle tendon unit absorbs energy is different from the rate at which it dissipates energy. This can be shown when looking at the storage modulus and loss modulus. The storage modulus represents the spring-like behavior of the material, and a higher storage modulus means a stiffer and more resistant material to deformation. The loss modulus is thought of as the dashpot-like behavior of the material, and a higher loss modulus means more damping and energy dissipation. Therefore, from a biomechanical point of view, stretch rate dependency is explained by the amount of stress relaxation that can occur in a given amount of time. Slower stretches allow for a greater degree of stress relaxation to occur, resulting in lowered peak forces. So, in conclusion, no, I'm not like a rubber band. We know that stretching results in greater flexibility, but it's due to its viscoelastic nature, not its elastic properties. And now we know that stress rate impacts the stress relaxation as well. Oh, like the silly putty snapping if you pull it too fast. Exactly. With this information, we now know that optimal stretching occurs within the first 4 cycles of a stretch held at a constant strain after reaching peak tension. Additionally, you should avoid ballistic stretching altogether to limit your risk of injury. Good to know. Thanks for all the good information.